Hey guys, today I'm gonna be showing you how to do task scheduler on Windows, which is similar to cron job on Linux. So the purpose is to be able to do certain tasks at certain time. So for example, in my office, we have a Windows virtual machine which is running 24/7. The Windows machine is used to collect data from various sources and we run it like every 2 hours. So this also works with your Windows laptop if you are running it 24/7. So first is I have created this very simple Python script which is just to simulate collecting data from Yahoo and Fred, and then to enhance it a little bit we add a first parameter which is Yahoo or Fred. We are using the same script for collecting data from either source. So first of all, how do we run this Python script through command prompt? You can open cmd command prompt. From here you can cd to your directory and then run it like python testing.py. This only works if you have Python installed in your environment variable. I have another video for that. So for example here, I'm running it as python testing.py and then the name of the data source that I want to collect from. And then another example is I prepared Yahoo as well. So here we have simulated to collect data from Yahoo and Fred. Actually here you have to insert data to the database as well, and the data have to be collected from certain source like from API or something. So here we're just simulating it by writing some text file. So this works. Remember this command to run the Python program. So we are going to be using this for the task scheduler later on. So here we open task scheduler. This will be my task scheduler window. So you can either use create basic task and create task. However, there's limitation on the create basic task. We can do either one for this one, for example. Let's name it collect data. So this is create basic task here. And then we can do it daily and we can set the recurring every 1 day or something. Or we can go back and specify the event. So you just follow whatever it shows in the screen here and then we set it at what time. Okay, so start program. Here we can use the Python. So here my Python will be located under D and then Python. I'm gonna look for the python.exe. So add argument. So previously we run it with this argument, right? This only works if your starting directory is F. So here we just specify F drive and then add arguments. Then we can actually just put it like this one, but the Python we have to directly specify the executable. Okay, collect data. Now your collect data is here. The action here is Yahoo. So you can create another task that runs the other data source. For example, you can simulate it one time and see whether it works by pressing this run button. Let's see our log file. So this is like the easiest way to track whether it works or not. And yeah, it was just running at 4:52 p.m. We confirm that it works. So next time it's gonna be starting at a particular trigger, right? So this is basic task. You can also move on to a more advanced setting for this one. So let's delete this one and start over. You can create task instead of basic task and see how it works from here. We're gonna be talking about the user here later on. The trigger is going to be the same. Start on the schedule. Here you can even specify the repetition every 2 hours or something. You can follow that. You can run it daily, recur every 1 day, and then repeat the task. This is what's not available in the create basic tasks. And then run it on schedule, and then the action will be the same. Start a program. You browse to your Python exe and then add the arguments testing.py Yahoo, and then we're gonna be starting it in F in my case. And conditions, it is okay, so the default is pretty okay. However, you may need to check if you are interested in other things there. So now going back to the general, now this is my username of my computer. The default option here is to run it whenever the user is logged in only. But in a Windows Server environment, sometimes Your username is disabled every 1 day, so you have to check your company's security measure. But actually, we can also run it with the highest privilege. You can tick that one and then change the user or group here. You type in system and then you check names. You press OK, and then this will become anti-authority slash backslash system. And then you just tick run with highest privilege, and then you press OK on it. What is interesting about this is it's going to run it in system. What is system? When you run this program, let's simulate to run it. It is actually running under system, but we don't actually see that because the task is very short, so it's going to stop like a few seconds after that. Now here we don't have the Python running anymore. Now let's simulate that by creating an infinite loop. How you collect data is typically you do an infinite loop while true, for example, and then you're going to sleep. And one more thing to mention is to add buffering here. So whenever it writes the file, it directly writes the file instead of buffering it first. So you can enable this option by doing buffering equals to true. You can try to run it again because now we have modified the script and the action here is still the same. So we just run it. We will see in Task Manager that actually this Python is running under system instead of our local username. And now we can also see that the file is being written every second, so it's being updated every second, and thus we already simulate collect data using the highest privilege. Okay, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching. Subscribe.